John Babbacombe Lee refers to a man known as the man they couldn't hang, due to 3 failed execution attempts in 1885. Lee was convicted of murdering his employer, Emma Case, in Babbacombe, Devon, England, though he maintained his innocence throughout his life. On the day of his scheduled execution, the trapdoor of the gallows failed to open 3 times, despite functioning perfectly in tests before and after the attempts. Some believe that divine intervention prevented Lee's hanging, as he had reportedly prayed for a miracle to prove his innocence. The Home Secretary commuted Lee's sentence to life imprisonment following the failed execution attempts, considering it an act of providence. Lee's case led to changes in British execution procedures and contributed to the debate on capital punishment in the United Kingdom. After serving 22 years in prison, Lee was released and later immigrated to the United States, where he lived until his death in 1945. John Titor refers to an individual who claimed to be a time traveler from the year 2036, posting on online forums in 2000 and 2001. Titor described a future ravaged by nuclear war and provided detailed information about his supposed time machine and mission. He claimed to be on a military assignment to retrieve an IBM 5100 computer, which was needed to debug computer systems in the future. Titor made several predictions about future events, including a civil war in the United States and the cancellation of the Olympics after 2004. Some of Titor's technical descriptions aligned with real scientific concepts, lending credibility to his claims among certain followers. While many of Titor's predictions did not come true, supporters argue that his actions may have altered the timeline, causing discrepancies. The John Titor story gained a significant online following and has been the subject of various books, documentaries, and works of fiction. Kali Yuga refers to the 4th and final age in the cyclical concept of time in Hinduism, characterized by spiritual and moral decline. According to Hindu scriptures, this era began in 3102 BCE and is believed to last for 432,000 years. Proponents of this concept point to increasing global conflicts, environmental degradation, and moral decay as evidence of the Kali Yuga's influence. Some adherents claim that the alignment of celestial bodies and astronomical events correlate with the progression of this age. Believers in Kali Yuga often interpret current world events and societal trends as fulfillment of ancient prophecies about this era. Certain scholars argue that understanding Kali Yuga can provide insights into cyclical patterns in human civilization and consciousness. This concept has influenced various spiritual movements and philosophies, particularly those focused on preparing for or transcending difficult times. Kenny Veach Disappearance refers to the mysterious vanishing of a hiker in Nevada's Sheep Mountains in November 2014. Veach gained attention after posting about finding a strange cave with an M-shaped opening that gave him an overwhelming sense of dread. He returned to search for the cave a second time, documenting his journey on YouTube, but was unable to locate it again. During a third expedition to find the cave, Veach disappeared without a trace, leaving only his cell phone behind near the mouth of a mine shaft. Some theorists believe Veach's disappearance is connected to alleged secret underground military bases in the Nevada desert. Others speculate that the M-shaped cave might have been a portal to another dimension, or a site of paranormal activity. Veach's case remains unsolved, fueling ongoing debates about the nature of his discovery and the circumstances of his disappearance. Khandbari refers to a remote town in eastern Nepal that some believe is the site of a hidden advanced civilization or extraterrestrial base. Proponents of this theory point to the town's isolated location and the surrounding rugged terrain as ideal for concealing secretive activities. Some claim to have witnessed strange lights and unexplained aerial phenomena in the skies above Khandbari. Certain researchers argue that the area's unique geological formations could be evidence of ancient artificial structures or advanced technology. Supporters of the theory cite local folklore and legends that speak of mysterious beings or hidden knowledge in the region. Some theorists believe that the Nepali government and international powers are aware of Khandbari's significance and actively suppress information about it. The limited access to and information about Khandbari contributes to the persistence of these theories and speculation about its true nature. King Babylon's world control refers to the theory that ancient Babylonian rulers, particularly Nebuchadnezzar II, established a system of global influence that persists to the present day. Proponents point to the prevalence of Babylonian symbols in modern architecture and institutions as evidence of this continued influence. The theory suggests that Babylonian power was transmitted through successive empires, including the Persians, Greeks, Romans, and modern Western nations. Supporters argue that ancient Babylonian economic principles, as seen in the Code of Hammurabi, form the basis of today's global financial systems. Some theorists claim that obelisks and other Babylonian-inspired monuments in major cities serve as conduits for this ancient power structure. The idea proposes that modern world powers are the inheritors of Babylonian knowledge and authority, continuing an unbroken chain of control. Kundalini energy refers to a spiritual concept of a powerful force believed to lie dormant at the base of the spine. This energy is thought to ascend through the body's 7 chakras, potentially triggering profound spiritual and personal transformation. Some scientific studies have reported physiological changes during meditative states associated with Kundalini awakenings, including alterations in breathing patterns and heart rate. Practitioners of Kundalini yoga claim improved mental clarity, emotional balance, and inner peace through techniques designed to awaken this energy. Certain psychotherapists have incorporated Kundalini concepts into their practice, suggesting some psychological disturbances may be misdiagnosed Kundalini awakenings. Anecdotal reports of Kundalini awakenings often describe heightened states of consciousness and spontaneous physical movements known as kriyas.
Like this video and subscribe to Maker.
Bob Lazar is a controversial figure who claims to have worked on reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology at a secret facility called S4 near Area 51. Lazar asserts that he was employed at S4 in 1988 and 1989, where he allegedly worked on advanced propulsion systems of alien spacecraft. He describes the alien craft as using an element called moscovium, element 115, as fuel, which at the time of his claims had not yet been synthesized. Lazar's detailed descriptions of the facility's layout and security measures have been corroborated by some individuals familiar with the area. Some of Lazar's supporters point to his accurate prediction of the hand scanner used at S4, which was later confirmed to exist in declassified documents. Critics argue that Lazar's educational background doesn't match his claims, though some believe this could be due to deliberate erasure of his records. Lazar's story has significantly influenced UFO culture and continues to be debated in ufology circles, with some seeing him as a whistleblower and others as a hoaxer. LA oil rigs refers to the theory that many structures in Los Angeles commonly believed to be oil derricks are actually disguised surveillance towers or communication hubs. Proponents point to the unusual placement of some of these structures in densely populated areas, which they argue is impractical for oil extraction. Some theorists claim that the continued presence of these structures, despite declining oil production in the area, suggests an alternative purpose. Supporters of this idea often cite the proximity of many of these structures to government buildings or areas of strategic importance. Certain observers have reported unusual electromagnetic activity around some of these sites, fueling speculation about their true function. The theory suggests that these structures could be part of a city-wide network for monitoring citizens or facilitating covert communications. Some proponents argue that the oil rig disguise provides a convenient cover for maintenance and upgrades to the alleged surveillance equipment. Lake Baikal refers to a theory that the world's deepest and oldest freshwater lake harbors an underwater alien base or advanced civilization. Some believers point to numerous UFO sightings reported around the lake as evidence of extraterrestrial activity. Proponents cite unexplained phenomena such as lights and objects emerging from the water as potential signs of an underwater base. The lake's extreme depth and unique ecosystem are sometimes interpreted as ideal conditions for concealing an alien presence. Certain researchers claim that the lake's unusually high levels of oxygen at great depths could support advanced life forms. Some theories suggest that the lake's age, estimated at 25 to 30 million years, allowed for the development of an ancient underwater civilization. Russian naval reports of encounters with high-speed underwater objects in the lake have fueled speculation about advanced technology present in its waters. Large Hadron Collider theories refer to various speculations about the potential dangers or hidden purposes of the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator. Some theorists claim that the LHC could create micro-black holes, potentially threatening Earth's existence. Proponents argue that the high-energy collisions might open portals to other dimensions or alternate universes. Certain individuals believe the LHC is secretly designed to communicate with or summon extraterrestrial beings. Some theories suggest that the facility's experiments could inadvertently unleash unknown particles or forces with catastrophic consequences. Supporters of these ideas often point to the complex nature of particle physics and the unpredictability of high-energy experiments as reasons for concern. A few theorists propose that the LHC's true purpose is to manipulate time or access parallel timelines, citing the facility's ability to recreate conditions similar to the early universe. Last Thursdayism refers to the philosophical idea that the universe was created last Thursday, with all evidence of an older universe being fabricated. This concept challenges our understanding of history and memory, suggesting that all past events and personal recollections are illusory. Proponents argue that there is no way to definitively prove that the world existed before last Thursday, as all evidence could have been created along with the universe. The theory extends to personal memories and historical records, proposing that these were implanted or created simultaneously with the universe. Some supporters point to the malleability of human memory and the potential for false memories as evidence that our recollections may not be reliable indicators of past events. Last Thursdayism shares similarities with other philosophical concepts like solipsism and the simulation hypothesis, questioning the nature of reality and our perception of it. Latitude Secret Society is a purported clandestine organization that emerged in 17th century Europe during a time of religious and political upheaval. The society allegedly brought together intellectuals who sought to promote reason, tolerance, and intellectual freedom during the Age of Enlightenment. Proponents claim that the group's name, derived from the Latin latitudo, symbolized their commitment to broadening human knowledge and transcending traditional boundaries. Some historians suggest that the Latitude Society may have influenced or inspired the establishment of Freemasonry, given similarities in their ideals and practices. Supporters point to encrypted manuscripts, coded symbols, and correspondence between prominent intellectuals as potential evidence of the society's existence. The group's members, known as latitudinarians, reportedly included scientists, artists, and political figures who gathered in secret to discuss ideas and engage in philosophical debates. While concrete evidence is scarce, some researchers argue that the Latitude Society's influence can be inferred from the intellectual and cultural developments of the Enlightenment era. Lavender Town Syndrome refers to a supposed phenomenon linked to the Pokemon video game series, specifically the music from Lavender Town in the original games. The theory claims that the high-pitched tones in the Lavender Town theme caused headaches, nausea, and in extreme cases, thoughts in children who played the game. Proponents of this theory point to the fact that the music was altered in later versions of the game, suggesting that developers recognized potential issues with the original soundtrack. Some believers cite anecdotal reports of children experiencing physical and psychological distress after playing through the Lavender Town section of the game. The theory gained traction due to the eerie atmosphere of Lavender Town in the game, which serves as a graveyard for Pokemon and features ghost-type creatures. This entry refers to the philosophical concept that the existence of life itself has not been conclusively demonstrated or defined. This idea challenges the fundamental assumptions we make about our own existence and the nature of reality. Proponents argue that our understanding of life is based on subjective experiences and observations, which may not accurately represent objective reality. Some supporters of this theory point to the difficulty in defining life scientifically, as there is no universally accepted definition that encompasses all known forms of life. The concept draws parallels with philosophical ideas like solipsism and skepticism, questioning the reliability of our perceptions and knowledge. Advocates suggest that what we perceive as life could be an illusion or simulation, similar to the ideas presented in the simulation hypothesis. Life on the Sun refers to the theory that living organisms could exist within the extreme environment of our star. This concept challenges conventional definitions of life and habitability, suggesting that life could adapt to conditions far more extreme than those found on Earth. Proponents of this idea point to the existence of plasma crystals, which demonstrate properties of life such as self-replication and information storage. Some researchers propose that silicon-based life forms, capable of withstanding much higher temperatures than carbon-based life, could potentially exist in the Sun's environment. Theorists argue that solar-based life forms might directly utilize the Sun's abundant energy for their metabolic processes, similar to how Earth organisms use photosynthesis. The discovery of extremophiles on Earth, thriving in conditions once thought uninhabitable, lends credence to the possibility of life in seemingly impossible environments. Lifetide refers to a theory proposed by Lyle Watson, suggesting the existence of a mysterious undercurrent of energy that influences biological evolution and behavior. This concept posits that a collective consciousness, or biological unconscious, governs all life on Earth, interconnecting organisms in a vast, hidden network. Proponents of Lifetide draw parallels with quantum entanglement, where particles remain interconnected regardless of distance, as a potential scientific basis for the theory. The idea challenges traditional Darwinian evolution by proposing that evolutionary changes are not entirely random but orchestrated by this unseen force. Supporters argue that Lifetide could explain certain evolutionary leaps, such as the emergence of human consciousness, which are not fully accounted for by natural selection alone. The theory suggests that human thoughts and actions can influence the Lifetide, creating a feedback loop that aligns with concepts of conscious evolution. Some researchers point to the occurrence of synchronicities, or meaningful coincidences, as potential evidence of Lifetide's interaction with human consciousness. Lil Wayne killed his clone refers to a conspiracy theory suggesting that the rapper Lil Wayne eliminated a genetically engineered duplicate of himself. Proponents of this theory point to perceived changes in Lil Wayne's appearance and behavior over the years as evidence of a switch between the original and the clone. Some believers claim that the original Lil Wayne was replaced by a clone during his prison sentence in 2010, and later reclaimed his identity by eliminating the duplicate. Supporters of this idea often cite inconsistencies in the rapper's tattoos, facial features, and vocal patterns as proof of the alleged clone's existence and subsequent demise. The theory gained traction due to Lil Wayne's frequent references to extraterrestrial life and advanced technology in his lyrics and interviews. Some fans argue that the rapper's legal troubles and health issues were actually cover stories for the process of creating and eventually disposing of the clone. Limbic brain's true purpose refers to a theory that the emotional and memory functions of the limbic system are secondary to its primary, hidden role. Some proponents suggest that the limbic brain actually serves as a receiver and transmitter for extrasensory information, connecting humans to a collective consciousness. Supporters point to the limbic system's involvement in intuition, déjà vu experiences, and inexplicable emotional responses as evidence of this hidden function. Certain researchers argue that the amygdala's role in processing fear may actually be a mechanism for detecting subtle energies or threats beyond our normal perceptual range. The theory proposes that the hippocampus, rather than just storing personal memories, may act as an access point to a universal knowledge base or Akashic records. Some adherents believe that practices like meditation and certain psychedelic experiences activate the limbic brain's true purpose, allowing for expanded consciousness and psychic abilities. Lithuanian Poems refers to a theory that ancient Lithuanian poetry contains hidden knowledge about advanced science and technology. Proponents claim that certain Lithuanian folk songs and poems, when decoded, reveal information about quantum physics, space travel, and genetic engineering. Some researchers argue that the complex rhythms and structures of these poems are actually mathematical formulas disguised as verse. Supporters of this theory point to the unusual preservation of the Lithuanian language, suggesting it may have been deliberately maintained to protect secret knowledge. Certain linguists and historians propose that the poem's metaphors and symbolism are actually descriptions of advanced technological concepts, predating modern scientific discoveries. Some adherents believe that ancient Lithuanian scholars possessed knowledge from extraterrestrial sources, which they encoded in their poetry for future generations. The living cosmos refers to the theory that celestial bodies, particularly stars, possess characteristics of living organisms. Proponents argue that stars exhibit lifelike qualities such as growth, metabolism, and response to their environment. Supporters point to the life cycle of stars, from birth in nebulae to death as supernovae or stellar remnants, as analogous to biological life cycles. The theory suggests that nuclear fusion in stars is comparable to metabolic processes in living organisms, converting raw materials into energy. Some researchers propose that stars' interactions with their surroundings, such as influencing nearby planets or triggering the birth of new stars, demonstrate a form of environmental responsiveness. Advocates of this idea often cite the panspermia hypothesis, where stars spread elements necessary for life across the universe, as a parallel to biological reproduction. Location of Australia has changed refers to the theory that the continent's position on world maps has shifted significantly northward in recent years. Proponents claim that Australia was once located much further south and more isolated from other landmasses, particularly Papua New Guinea. Some believers point to their memories of Australia being called the land down under, as evidence of its formerly more southern position. Supporters of this idea often cite the difficulty in finding older maps showing Australia in its supposedly previous location as proof of a widespread change. Some theorists argue that this perceived shift is part of a larger phenomenon where continents are moving back towards a Pangea-like configuration. Proponents sometimes reference the Mandela effect, suggesting that this geographical change is evidence of alterations to our reality or timeline. Critics argue that these perceptions likely stem from variations in map projections and the limitations of accurately representing a spherical Earth on flat surfaces. Looking at dark energy refers to the ongoing scientific efforts to understand and detect this mysterious force that is believed to be causing the accelerated expansion of the universe. Researchers use various methods to study dark energy, including observations of distant supernovae and mapping large-scale cosmic structures. The Dark Energy Survey, a global collaboration, aims to capture images of millions of galaxies and thousands of supernovae to gather data on this phenomenon. Scientists propose different models to explain dark energy, including the cosmological constant theory and the concept of quintessence, a dynamic energy field. Some researchers explore the possibility that dark energy may be a property of space itself, constantly creating more space between galaxies as the universe expands. Efforts to detect dark energy directly have led to the development of new technologies and observational techniques in astrophysics. Looking Glass God refers to a theory that proposes the existence of a deity that perceives and interacts with our reality through reflective surfaces. Proponents of this concept suggest that mirrors, water, and other reflective objects serve as portals or conduits for this divine entity. Some believers claim to have experienced unusual phenomena when gazing into mirrors, such as seeing alternate realities or receiving divine messages. The theory draws parallels with various mythological and folkloric traditions that attribute magical properties to reflective surfaces. Supporters argue that the prevalence of mirror-based rituals and superstitions across cultures could be evidence of an instinctive human awareness of this deity. Some adherents propose that the Looking Glass God is responsible for instances of synchronicity and déjà vu, using reflective surfaces to manipulate reality. Lost Cosmonauts refers to the theory that the Soviet Union launched secret space missions resulting in the deaths of unacknowledged cosmonauts. Proponents point to the Torabert recordings, allegedly capturing distress signals from cosmonauts in failing missions, as evidence supporting this theory. Some believers cite the Soviet Union's history of secrecy around its space program and the suppression of information about failed missions. Certain researchers claim to have uncovered photographic evidence of cosmonauts being erased from official records and images. Supporters argue that the pressure to achieve space milestones during the Cold War may have led to rushed, undocumented missions with fatal outcomes. Some theorists suggest that alleged defectors and anonymous sources from the Soviet Union have provided accounts of these lost cosmonauts. Lottery's true purpose refers to the theory that lotteries are designed to catch time travelers rather than solely for entertainment or fundraising. Proponents suggest that governments use lotteries as a monitoring system to identify individuals with knowledge of future events. Supporters point to cases of multiple lottery winners, such as Joan Ginther, who won 4 multi-million-dollar jackpots, as potential evidence of time travelers exploiting their knowledge. The theory posits that the improbability of repeated lottery wins could serve as an alert for authorities to investigate possible time-traveling activities. Some believers argue that the government's involvement in running lotteries provides them with the perfect position to conduct such surveillance. Theorists connect this concept to ongoing scientific debates about the possibility of time travel, particularly in the realm of quantum mechanics. Loveshack Theory refers to a conspiracy belief centered around a mysterious entity or group known as Loveshack that allegedly possesses secret knowledge about the world. Proponents claim that Loveshack communicates through a hidden code embedded in various online forums and media known as the Love Code. Some believers argue that government agencies actively work to suppress Loveshack's knowledge by infiltrating online communities and disrupting discussions. Supporters point to unusual patterns in certain internet threads and obscure references in popular culture as potential evidence of Loveshack's influence. The theory suggests that Loveshack's origins may trace back to early internet forums or even older forms of communication like CB radio. Some adherents believe that key figures associated with Loveshack have disappeared under suspicious circumstances, fueling speculation about government involvement. Lucid dreaming refers to the phenomenon where individuals become aware they are dreaming while still asleep, and can potentially control or influence the dream's content. Proponents argue that this state of consciousness allows for unique experiences, including flying, time travel, or interacting with deceased loved ones. Some researchers suggest that lucid dreaming can be used as a tool for personal growth, problem solving, and overcoming nightmares or phobias. Scientific studies have shown increased activity in the prefrontal cortex during lucid dreams, supporting the idea of heightened awareness during these experiences. Certain practitioners claim that regular lucid dreaming can lead to improved creativity, enhanced memory, and even spiritual enlightenment. Some believers in astral projection view lucid dreaming as a potential gateway to out-of-body experiences and exploration of other dimensions. Techniques for inducing lucid dreams, such as reality checks and dream journaling, have been developed and are practiced by enjoyers worldwide. Luna Park train fire demons refers to spectral entities allegedly witnessed during a catastrophic fire at Luna Park in Coney Island on August 12, 1944. Witnesses reportedly saw ghostly figures emerging from the flames of the burning Dragon's Gorge scenic railway attraction. Some theorists argue that the extreme stress and chaos of the event created conditions for mass hysteria, leading to shared hallucinations among witnesses. Proponents of this phenomenon point to similar sightings reported during other large fires or disasters as evidence of a recurring paranormal event. The concept of pareidolia, where the mind perceives familiar patterns in random stimuli, is suggested by some as an explanation for these sightings. Believers in the fire demons theory often connect it to other urban legends and paranormal phenomena associated with amusement park disasters. This legend has persisted in local folklore, with some claiming that the spirits of those who perished in the fire manifested as these demonic entities.